What is up, you guys, and welcome back to another podcast and a YouTube video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how I changed my life and got into the best shape of my life physically and mentally, and how it all started. If you're 30, 40, 50 and feel like you've tried everything to lose weight and get in shape, I want to tell you something real. I didn't always look the way that I look right now. And even though I haven't gotten to the point, because I'm only 25, even though I haven't gotten to the point where I'm like 30 or 40 or 50 and maybe I'm not in shape or whatever it is, I had my own starting point as well. And along the way, even when you're there and you're in shape, you even face other different types of devils that make it even harder for you to make it live a good life when it comes to working on yourself. You know the saying, new levels, new devils, and it's true because there are other things that you do go through when you're in shape. But, you know, this is the story of how I went from, depressed, overworked, binge eating bodybuilder to someone who's built a strong, lean, and sustainable life around fitness and health, and how I also help others to do the same. I started lifting when I was 11. I was skinny, insecure, kind of getting picked on, and I looked up to a lot of confident people in my life, like my family. Even though they didn't have it all together, they, still did their best, and that's what I loved. And at 13 to 14, I dove in. I learned about different kinds of workout splits, macros, how to actually build muscle. And I got really obsessed, but in a good way, because I was really insecure. I didn't play sports, and it became my outlet in my life for something that it was just something that made me look forward to each and every day. So when I really got into it around 13 and 14 years old, I started to get some decent results, and I wish I could show you some pictures and stuff like that, but I didn't have too many when I was a kid. And I used to get compliments from people all the time, and people would ask me questions, and I just kind of found my natural path in terms of, giving people a good nudge forward here and there. And at 18, I won my natural pro card in bodybuilding. But a few years later, I lost 3 shows in a row, which completely broke me. I started to binge eat. I got depressed. I even went on antidepressants. And that whole year, I was just struggling. And that's when I hit like the biggest low. And this is what I mean by like new levels and new devils. Because when you're in a place where physically you're fit, you kind of have a life that people, want to have. Not saying that my life is that, because I'm nowhere near where, I want to be. And there's room for growth, but I do love my life and I'm really grateful for it. But it doesn't really matter where you're at. There's always struggles with where you are. But in 2023, things got a lot worse for me. There was financial stress. There was business pressure. I went into debt. I lost a sense of who I was. I went on antidepressants, like I said. I didn't fall completely out of shape, but I was burnt out mentally. And all I wanted to do was feel like myself again. So how did I go through all of that, a lot of hardships along the way, and flip the script to get better? And I think that's the hard-hitting point that I want to get across, because it doesn't matter where you're at in life, whether you're 30, 40, or 50 and out of shape, or maybe you were in shape once and got in shape, or, maybe you're going through some of your own financial stress as well, or, anything along the lines of that. There comes a point where something needs to shift. And for a lot of people, it can feel really overwhelming or sometimes really hard. And for me, it was honestly one of the hardest things to overcome in that moment, because to break it down, there was 3-4 weeks where I was just basically bedridden. I was just on my couch, barely working, not doing much. And it really just the overwhelm just really caught up to me. So it wasn't something magical. And it wasn't any kind of specific workout plan or diet plan or, you know, crazy business thing or crazy finance thing that really pulled me out of it. It was honestly just simplifying and getting real with myself, and also cutting out bad habits so I could focus on what really mattered. I stopped chasing a lot of extremes and a lot of pleasure. I stopped going on random dates just to hook up with people. I stopped, you know, chasing financial dopamine, as in like going out and buying things just to make myself happy. I started to really cut back, and one of the things was just trying to accept to be okay with myself, even if I didn't do anything. And I had to really sit in that while still going about my life doing things that made me feel good, like working out. I actually had to change how I approach workouts, because I always used to approach it from a sense where like I really had to do it, you know what I mean? Like I really needed to make sure I was always getting in the best shape possible, blah, 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 blah. And that was a big extreme in my life. And I had to change that around to be a lot more flexible with it now. I still work out in the way that I like to, where I like to push myself and have a good workout whenever I'm working out. But it's not to like an extreme to like kind of chase anything. And if I'm not feeling it during a certain day, I dial it back a little bit. So I just kind of really stopped following what influencers were doing, and I really started to get honest about what I needed for myself. And I think that's really, really where things start to change with people, because I feel like a lot of the time people don't really feel well about themselves because they're chasing things that other people have that they don't have yet. But imagine if you were never able to get those things in your life. Like, how would you make yourself happy today? Like, what would be that shift? And I like to sit and think in that whenever I'm not doing well mentally, because just because I wasn't doing mentally a while back doesn't mean that I, you know, don't have times or moments where I'm not doing good. Like even last night was one of those nights for me, and today I'm kind of getting back into the groove of like my normal routine. But a thought that I really like to sit in is like, if I like didn't have to make any changes, or you know, if nothing changed, if I, you know, couldn't get my hair cut, or if I, you know, couldn't go out and like buy stuff, or, you know, whatever it may be, or if, you know what I mean, if I had like nothing, and you just strip away everything down to like the bare bone minimum of like what you have, like without doing anything extra on top of what you just need to do today, like how would you make yourself happy while still doing those things? And I feel like when you cut out all the extra noise, like literally cut it all out, it changes how you approach things, because you approach things with more intent and effort and quality work versus half-assing it and being kind of scatterbrained and trying to chase things outside of that, because now that you're putting your time and energy into those things, you're not putting as much time and energy into the things that you already have, right? And I really like to put myself in that position, because, or at least I like to think that way and frame things that way, because, you know, you're not always all the time going to be able to add in new things into your life to make it better. And I don't think that that's what life is about either. I think it's about really focusing on the things that you have in this moment, like today and only today, without anything extra, and focusing on doing a good job with what you have today. And as soon as I started to just think that way and approach my days that way, and also commit to not adding anything else on top of what I was already doing, it's like you get this kind of sense of peace of mind, which then brings on the shift. Because there's nothing else there except you working on what only you have to work on that day, and you're doing a good job with it. You feel satisfied about doing a good job with it. You're building momentum because you're progressing in what you already have. It's kind of like people who want to get in shape, but they keep program hopping and trying different programs, and they're not just building progress in a program that's just simple and basic. Like, you just need to focus on making progress with the plan that's already there, because if you keep shifting your focus on like a bunch of different things, trying to focus on this, like it just makes life really complicated. And I know for me, whenever I get to that point where I'm trying to add in new things, trying to change things, trying to always make, you know, new things, you know, it never usually grows, or you never usually change the way that you want to change, and you're kind of just left feeling a little bit dissatisfied. So that's, one of the bigger shifts that I made to help myself get into a better headspace, to feel better about going day to day, about what I was doing as a man. And, I always used to beat myself up too, in a sense, where I was like, I need more discipline, or, I need a plan that makes more sense, or, always trying to change things up here and there. And it's just like not about that. You know what I mean? Like, life is truly about having a plan that fits what you're able to do within the day and like within your weeks without burning out. So then that way you can feel good doing it, and you can build progress with what's there. You know what I mean? So, and then as I started to get back into my routine with fitness, and, I started to plan things out better in my life, like, it truly helped me get into a better place physically and mentally, because I wasn't just chasing extremes. I was honestly just chasing like the day. And if you're someone who's in a little bit of a struggle right now, mentally and physically, like, no matter what, throw all your thoughts out the door. Like, you can make today good if you just try. And sometimes it takes having or hearing something that freshens up your mind a little bit, like maybe a conversation like this. Maybe it's taking the time to sit down and plan out your finances and your workouts and your health side of things. Maybe it's taking the time to, you know what I mean? Like, not just, I think one thing that also helps as well is like not doing anything, because that never leads to anything. Like, movement is life. Like, you need to keep going, because that's how you continue to bring the good. Rest when you need to along the way, but think about life like a marathon that never ends. You can't just keep running always. Sometimes you do need to stop and rest for a bit, but then you pick back up and keep going on the same track that you're already on. You know what I mean? Maybe adding in a few things along the way to help you run better. You know what I mean? And just when I started to frame things that way, because I always used to get caught in my head about like, oh, I'm not doing enough. Oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, I am good enough. I am doing enough. Maybe I just need to focus on what I'm already doing and get better at it, rather than changing things up all the time and doing a complete 360. And like, that never helps at all. So, anyways, I wanted to talk about this because I know getting in shape, like, it's not just getting in shape. I feel like a lot of people think about weight loss or getting healthier as this like cheesy kind of thing. You know what I mean? Oh, lose 20 pounds. It's not. Like, all the clients that I've worked with who need to lose 20 pounds or 30 or whatever, or lose weight and get healthier, they need to change around their whole lifestyle. And it's a lifestyle change, and it takes a lot mentally. And I think one of the biggest pieces is the mindset piece, right? And you can work on your mindset and you can strengthen it really, really good. But it takes effort, and it takes reflection, and it takes conversations like this. It also takes reflection like this. So if you feel stuck, you're not stuck. You need to reframe the way that you're thinking, and maybe replan out a few things, and then just roll with it for like a long time. And thankfully, like, your fitness and your health is really simple. Like, it is pretty black and white. But I think where it's not black and white is like the mental piece. You know what I mean? And sometimes you just need a few things to kind of get yourself on the right track. So that's how I changed my life with health and fitness, mentally and physically, through the last couple of years, as I've gone through bodybuilding, an insecure skinny kid, to, someone who struggled with depression, who went on antidepressants and like was, really not doing well for a while. And I'm happy about myself with how I've progressed so far over the last couple of years, because I feel like I have challenged myself to get better. But a lot of it for me at least, and I hope that this helps you, it comes back to like mentally being in a good place and reminding myself of those things and just trying to stay in that headspace. So, okay, if I didn't have, anything extra, or if I didn't do anything extra, like what could I do today to help improve my life and make it good today? And I found that really stuck with me for a while, day to day, and it really helped me feel good because it felt like I didn't need to do anything else extra or chase anything crazy. Like I just really needed to focus on the day at hand, and it gave me this sense of peace and hope. You know what I mean? On top of everything else that I was, planning out and stuff like that. So, but that's it, you guys. If this resonated with you, let me know down below in the comments. I kind of just wanted to get this off of my chest. I'm actually going to post a full YouTube video separate from this. So make sure to check out my YouTube page, and it's going to be based on the same kind of topic. So make sure to check that out and check out the longer form type videos that I will be posting on there. But anyways, let me know if you enjoyed this one by liking, subscribing, commenting, whatever it is. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys soon.